Hello and welcome to this video on adding and subtracting decimals. When adding and subtracting decimals, it is essential that you realize where the decimal is located at. The key part when it comes to adding and subtracting decimals is the decimal point must be lined up. What do I mean by this? Well, let's take a look. Let's say we have a problem that reads 32.41, so 32 and 41 hundredths, and I just want to add the number 2 to that. Well, it's pretty clear where the decimal point on 32.41 is, 32 and 41 hundredths is. But when I look at the 2, there is no decimal place. So thinking to myself, I must realize that it follows the 2, and I can even put a 0 behind it just to hold the place. So when I go to put this down below, because I like to line things up vertically, I think it makes things a little bit clearer, I'm going to put the 2.0 here, and I'm even going to put another 0 as a placeholder. Why did I put it there? Well, the decimal point must line up, so they must go straight up and down. And then if I want to add this, I'm going to put the decimal place right underneath so it continues the line straight down. Then I just add like normal. 1 plus 0 is 1, 4 plus 0 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 just comes down as a 3. So my answer is 34 and 41 hundredths. If, for example, I have subtraction and I want to know what 31.2 minus, let's say 23.84 is. Once again, I'm going to choose to set this up vertically. I'm going to put the 31 and 2/10 here. And then the 23.84, I need to begin with the decimal point lined up. So the 3 would go here in the ones place, the 2 would go in the hundreds place, and then 84 would follow. Now here, I'm dealing with subtraction. But I need to make sure, just so I don't make any mistakes, I'm going to fill that in with a 0, remembering that I can add zeros to the end of a decimal number without changing the value. I can't add it before the decimal, but following the decimal I can add zeros after the last number. Okay. When it comes to subtracting, I'm going to need to borrow 10 really from there. Okay, so make that 10 minus 4 is 1. 1 minus 8 I can't do, so I need to borrow from here, changing that to a 0. Making that 11 minus 8 is 3. My decimal place will stay in the same place. And then over here, I basically have 30 minus 23, which is 7.36. So once again, it's all about lining up the decimals, and then you just add and subtract like you're dealing with normal numbers. But it's essential to line up the zeros, or line up the decimals, and then fill in the zeros as needed, just so that you don't get confused about what to do with the blank spot. Sometimes when it comes to decimals, it's important to have an idea, an estimate of what your answer will be. One technique by which we can do this is something called front-end estimation. Front-end estimation gets its name from looking at the front end, looking at the numbers that come before the decimals. And if I were just to add 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5, I would get 4, 6, 11. And then I would look at what the decimal places would be. 0.98 is basically another 1. And then I can look at 26, 42, and 49. Very roughly, I could say that's like another 1. So at this point, if I were to estimate what my actual answer, or what my answer would be, I would do 11 plus 1 plus 1, and I would say it's about 13. Once again, is this exact? No, it's just an estimate. But out of curiosity, let's see how close we're at. So if I want to add all these numbers together, Let's see. Let me just pull together my answer. I would get the answer 13 and 15 hundredths. So is 13 a fairly good estimate? I would say so. So basically this is a form of estimation called front-end estimation, as opposed to just looking at these and rounding this up to 4, rounding this down to 1, rounding this to 2, rounding this to 5. It's a little bit more accurate because it adds down the front, and then it also takes into account sort of the numbers that follow. So anyway, hopefully this has been a helpful review for you of adding and subtracting decimals.